Okay, in this video, I want to show you the new pyRevit installer that I just published. There has been only one change to it that is hopefully will make the pyRevit management for large environments a little bit easier. So previously, whenever you install pyRevit, you would always get the head of the repository, the most recent version of pyRevit, whatever that was. This meant that if you have a lot of people in a company and they install pyRevit at different times, they would potentially get different pyRevit versions. So the new installer, if you download it from the usual spot from the blog, download installer from here, or you can always get it from the pyRevit repository under releases. Is the the pyRevit 4.4 is the most recent one. You can run the installer. Make sure that you have uninstalled the previous installations of pyRevit, just to make sure that it's going to be clean install, and then install that. Next, same thing as before. You had seen this these options in the previous update to the installer. There was one quick update on this that previously, if you had the all users selected and you would hit next, the default installation path would still be the default installation path for the user app data. So that has been fixed. This now correctly points to the program data. I'm just going to keep using that, and then you'll see that in this new screen that asks you if you want to install the most recent pyRevit version or you want to install the most a very specific version of pyRevit. The way it works is that if you hit on next and go to the next screen, is actually going to ask you for the hash value of the commit that you want to be on. So if you go to the pyRevit repository commits, and let's say I want my pyRevit installation to be at this version, basically. I want this to be the latest change that I want to have on my machine. So I'm going to click on that button. I'm going to copy this hash value. I'm going to put it here. You can actually do it partial. It doesn't really need to have the full hash value. You can use the 7-digit hash that GitHub uses generally. So, and then hit next, confirm the final destination, and hit install, and the new installer will start working on installing the pyRevit for you. I have this folder actually open. So see, this is program data. See program data. It's going to install it under pyRevit, pyRevit 4, pyRevit repository, and see that .git folder. This is your repository. This is the pyRevit repository that's being installed on your machine. This cloning process is actually filling the information inside this folder from GitHub. And then once it's done, it starts populating this folder with all the contents of basically pyRevit repository. So right now I'm going to let that finish, and I'll show you how the versioning works later. Okay, so see, now it's completed the cloning of the repository. It starts populating the folder with the contents. This is called checking out a branch. So it's checking out the branch for your use here. So you can see all this stuff being populating. Now after it's done, it's going to tell you setting pyRevit version basically to the specific version that you asked for. So you're setting repository version, and then the installation would complete just as before. Now, just to double check the locations of the pyRevit add-ons, if I go to program data, because I installed it for all users, Autodesk, Revit, add-ins, let's say 2017, see pyRevit add-in definition file has been added there. So I know that's been installed for all the users, and it's sitting in the right spot. Now, the only thing that I wanted to know is that what version that I installed, if it's the version that I wanted it or not. I can run Revit to do that and check the about window, but this is going to be a little bit faster. I'm not going to make you wait for this a lot. So I'm just going to open my Git Kraken, which is the Git manager that I use for Git repositories. Okay, so now my Git Kraken is open. I'm going to actually open that specific repository that we just installed. So I'm going to browse to that folder, open that, just to show you that we are sitting on the correct version. Okay, so see, this is the whole repository with all the changes that have been done, right? See, it says, shows a little computer icon and says master. This is your master branch sitting at the resolve issue number 221, that exact commit that we asked for it to be. Obviously, you can see everything else that is in the Git repository. These are not, you don't need to worry about this basically. Your pyRevit version is sitting in this, and that's the specific version that you asked for. The nice thing about this is that because it's a Git repository, you can always update pyRevit to a different version or change it basically to the most recent version without the need to reinstall and stuff like that. One thing that I've added to the pyRevit repository for you to know a little bit more about this if you want to. All this installation and installer and stuff like that, all these tools reside under the release folder. If you go under release, there's a README file in here that basically you can see on this page that describes what the purpose of each one of these files that's in this folder. So the install add-in is the one that the installer runs just to make sure that the Revit add-in files has been added to the folders. The uninstall add-in removes those files, and the upgrade bat is the one that generally, whenever there's a core update, use that to update pyRevit. Most of these tools use a sort of like a backend, which is a C# tool that I've created, which is called the pyRevit Git Services. The pyRevit Git Services has a couple of commands that you can use. This tool resides is under the release folder. Let me go and actually show you where that is. If you go under pyRevit repository under release, pyRevit Git Services, bin and release. This is the tool that sits there basically, and it is shipped with every pyRevit installation. So this you don't ever need to use this tool, but this is the tool that if you are a system administrator, you can use to make sure if you want to make changes to the pyRevit repository, change the versions, update it, clone it, and stuff like that. You can use this tool instead of installing the full Git, basically full Git tool. So currently it's got three functions. It can clone the pyRevit repository to whatever destination folder that you can provide to it. It can update the pyRevit repository, just give it the installation path, and it would update it to the head of the master. And then this is the new function that I added, which is the set version. So you can run this, give it the command set version, give it the path to the installation, and give it the hash value of the target that you want. So if you have a bunch of users that have pyRevit already installed and you just want to change their versions, basically you can just run this command on their machines, and it would update the pyRevit repository to the exact hash commit that you want it to be at. That's about it as far as changes to the installer. I'll do a blog post very soon right after this, so I can post this video in there too, and we'll provide a little bit more information on this. Thank you.